A bizarre mystery is making headlines after the high-profile arrest of the CEO of Telegram, a huge messaging platform, and it all comes as the creator faces charges for allegedly allowing heinous activities on the app like drug trafficking or child sex trafficking. We're taking a closer look into the investigation of Pavel Durov and his missing companion. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Sierra Gillespie. Over the last few days, the arrest of Pavel Durov has dominated global headlines, with connections to multiple countries, and it seems the drama surrounding the exiled Russian billionaire doesn't stop at his detention in France. It seems one of his recent traveling companions, online influencer Julie Vavilova, is now missing. So here's what we know about Durov. He and his brother Nikolai founded a social network in Russia called VK back in 2006. But in 2014, Durov was kicked out of the company he created after he refused to hand over the personal data of protesters and to block certain pages, which the Kremlin was allegedly demanding. Durov has long been an advocate of free speech and internet freedom. He left Russia and has said he has no plans to go back. After all this, he launched Telegram, which is an encrypted messaging app, which quickly grew in popularity. Telegram was first headquartered in Germany, but then it moved to Dubai. Right now, Telegram has around 950 million monthly active users, an absolutely huge number. And like many social media platforms, it provides critical communication services. It's been instrumental in sharing updates for the continuing war between Ukraine and Russia. But there's very little moderation of the site's content. The primary concern has been what's known as CSAM, child sexual abuse material. But investigators into child sex trafficking have uncovered more alleged criminal activity, including the sale and shipment of drugs, as well as money laundering. Authorities say Durov is responsible for the content that's being shared on the platform. They say he was aware of it, but did very little to slow it down. French officials also say they've requested information from Telegram multiple times so they can identify and stop criminals like child pornographers. But French officials say Telegram has basically ignored them. French police arrested Durov as he stepped off his private jet last weekend at an airport just outside of Paris. After 4 days in custody, he was released on €5 million bail and preliminarily charged for managing an online platform to allow illicit transactions by an organized group. That charge alone could mean up to 10 years in prison. He's supposed to stay in France while officials continue this investigation. Now, Durov is a citizen of multiple countries: Russia, France, the United Arab Emirates, and the Caribbean island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. He says he was not on the run before his arrest. His lawyer, David Olivier Kaminsky, was quoted by French media saying it's totally absurd to think that the person in charge of a social network would be implicated in criminal acts that don't concern him, directly or indirectly. And in a statement posted on the platform after Durov's arrest, Telegram said it follows EU laws and its moderation is within industry standards and constantly improving. So who is Julie Vavilova, the woman who has apparently been traveling with Durov recently? The 24-year-old describes herself as a crypto coach and social media influencer, and she's based in Dubai. Vavilova has recently showed off luxurious trips in the same areas Durov has recently been traveling, like Uzbekistan. The two have posted similar photos and videos from the same places. Now, since Durov landed back in France, news agency AFP reports Vavilova's family hasn't been able to get in touch with her, and she seems to have gone silent online. This has led to not only concerns about her safety, but also wild conspiracy theories about her involvement in the Telegram CEO's arrest. Some within the crypto community have suggested that some of Vavilova's posts helped tip off authorities about Durov's location. Others have taken it even further, saying this was a honeypot situation and that Vavilova got close to Durov as part of a criminal investigation. Watching or listening to Sidebar, you may be out and about doing things, and if you're running errands, listen up. You're going to want to download the Upside app. It's something I use every time when I'm out and about, like filling up gas. Why wouldn't I use it? I get free cash back. All you have to do is download the Upside app. Once you've done that, you can claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. So pay as normal with a debit or credit card and then follow the steps on the app to get paid. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on the screen and use our promo code Sidebar to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Today we're joined by John Lucich, who's a tech and phone expert. John, thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get started with a really basic question. What is Telegram? To me, it sounds something like Signal or Facebook Messenger. Is that what it is?
It's a messaging app to get have open messages. You can share messages. You can share files. You can live stream. It's just like a lot of other messaging applications. They try and differentiate themselves in small ways. Just like a telegram would be something we used to send, but now we do it instantly, right? So it's a play off the old technology.
This kind of leads into my next question about Telegram being encrypted. And this is something we hear a lot with Signal, where somebody who is conducting illegal drug activity, whatever it may be, uses Signal because it is encrypted. So that kind of gets me thinking about Telegram. Is it possible that that's what people use it for?
Oh, absolutely. But remember, it's with all the technologies. It's not limited to Telegram. Just like bank robbers use a car to go rob a bank, right? It's the that doesn't mean that the platform put it up there to do that, right? All types of technologies are abused on a regular basis to commit crimes.
We know the defendant in this case, Pavel Durov, has kind of an interesting history. He's almost like the Zuckerberg of Russia. Way back when he created a social media platform, and he only left because the Kremlin had requested some data and he didn't want to hand it over. So now I'm kind of wondering, does this parallel what's going on in France? Is it possible he has this data and just refuses to hand it over?
Absolutely. And they may have extradition. I'm not familiar with the laws of France and Russia, but they may have a treaty where they have extradition, where they said once he comes into France, grab him and we'll extradite him. So the problem is right now there's not a lot of information about what's really going on, and who's with him, and why they're with him and how long they've been with him. But based on my 35 years in this industry, being retired from the State Organized Crime Bureau of the New Jersey Attorney General's office, and now doing it for more than 25 years in the private sector, um, we can speculate, but it's going to be an educated speculation, right, based on all that experience.
So at the very least, we know he's really tech savvy. He's created multiple platforms. He's got millions of users. So I'm wondering if, and this is a big if, would he know how to cover his tracks well? He's so well versed in his own technology.
So I don't know what he's actually been charged with, but yes, even kids today, they're growing up with technology in their homes would be aware a lot of times. But a guy that's this sophisticated would absolutely know how to cover up his tracks. The problem is, though, it's hard when you have a cell phone that everybody knows, right? That everybody has a phone number to, especially the people that are closest in your circle. And to give up that cell phone, by the way, that's the only way. If you don't give up that cell phone, they're going to be able to track you anywhere and everywhere you go.
Let's talk about tracking. That's the reason we're talking about this story at all today. His detainment in France and the woman who he was with. That's 24-year-old Julie Vaviloa. Now, we don't know where she is. That's really the reason for the story today. Is it possible that we could track her down from her phone or social media posts?
Remember, it's speculating, of course. She may have been a plant. She may be a cooperating witness. She may be somebody who was placed there. I don't believe this is the young lady that's been his girlfriend for years, right? So depending upon when she came into the scene, she may be a confidential informant that's actually, when you're texting people secretively and someone says, "Who are you texting? Who are you doing this?" It's suspicious. But when you're just posting something on social media, so if, and I say if, she is a cooperating witness or a confidential informant, then posting stuff on social media would be a great way to tell law enforcement where she is going to be next. So if that was the case, they'd know exactly where to go and when to go to make the arrest once they got the paperwork in place.
A lot of people are saying that she's a spy. I know it kind of sounds like fan fiction or a conspiracy theory, but people are saying this online, mostly X or Twitter, because she was posting photos of where they've been together. They both recently were in the same spots and took similar photos. How is this something that these online conspiracy theorists are going to be able to prove? Or is it something they won't be able to?
You're not going to be able to prove it until more facts come out, right? So, when you say try and locate her, if she is a cooperating witness or a confidential informant, which is basically one and the same, depending on which agency you talk to, she could be with law enforcement right now. They could be, holding on to her for a lot of different reasons, including her own safety. So, or she just may have been into the wind and didn't want to be part of the media, um, you know, barrage of media requests that might come as a result of this. So one day we will know, we should know, but it all depends what comes out going forward.
I think what's really tricky here is there are a lot of questions. We don't have a lot of the evidence or a lot of the answers as of now. But I'm wondering if authorities are going to focus on things like social media, phones. As you said, we all have a phone with us. Is that something they'll then really focus on?
It definitely could be, but like I said, we need more information because we don't even know what the case is that Russia has against this guy, other than failure to give them some information. Remember, it could be something as simple as why Europe wants to go out, and some people in Europe want to go out and arrest Elon Musk for letting too many people have a free voice when they want certain voices, halted. They don't want everybody to have a freedom of speech in Europe, not all of Europe, but some or a lot of Europe. They want to quiet people and not give them a voice and only have one voice heard. And maybe that's what Russia's up to. We don't know. Musk does not deserve to be arrested. He's doing a great job. I think anybody who gives freedom of speech to anybody and everybody and to all sides equally is a great person. So I'd like to see more about what Russia has against him, because remember, Russia, there's a lot of bad things that they can say about Putin, about what he's done to journalists and everything else over the years. So I'd like to see more about what they want to charge him with.
Now, you brought up Russia, and there's a lot going on there because we have Russia. He was arrested in France. We know that Telegram was based in Dubai. Prior to that, it was Germany. So, really, he's involved with a global world here. There's a lot going on. I'm wondering now, is there a big discrepancy between different countries and their technological advancements? So, is it possible Russia knows more than France does, or vice versa?
Remember, I don't care what other countries want. I care about the United States and freedom of speech for us. So if those servers are in the United States that host a specific messaging application, then other countries shouldn't have a say of what we allow, what we don't allow. They want to stop it at their country and block anything from their country, which they can do. So they couldn't get to that social media. But don't tell me that you want to come out and arrest an American citizen for putting up a social media application that you disagree with because of the political or social differences that you have with them. So the only reason I bring up Russia is because it seems like Russia was the start of all this, where he would not comply with giving them certain data. I don't know what kind of data they have, but remember, when you own a social media application that's so popular worldwide, you are going to have connections in all these nations. But if the nations don't like it, tell them to block it. That's the answer. The answer is not arresting someone, because it might go the other way. So we want freedom of speech for everybody in America, and wherever those servers are hosted, that should be the law. So if they're in Russia, then Russia can do something about it. They can take the servers down.
So let's bring it back to what we're talking about today. That's Julie. As you said, she could be missing on her own accord. Something nefarious could be happening. But do you think investigators are going to track her down by going piece by piece through her Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, kind of the breadcrumb trails that she left behind? Are they going to go through all of that in order to find her?
Well, if she's really into the wind by herself, she's not going to be posting anymore, because even she's got to realize that any post that you put up, the social media companies can just give to the agencies upon request, whether subpoena or what they call a communications data warrant, the IP address that she's coming back from, and then they'd be able to locate her and they'd be able to track her whereabouts. she'd have to not only turn off her phone, but dump her phone altogether because they can still track your phone when it's off where you are. So if she's really into the wind by herself, then she wouldn't be doing any of that, and there would be no way to track her unless she really is just not that tech savvy. But most people are today. I think we're going to see more information come out about this case, what's happened to her, where she is, and what her involvement was as this progresses. But we always should back law enforcement. Law enforcement's job is to investigate, and they should have the right to do that worldwide.
Thank you so much, John, for coming on again, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
Whatever's happening next, this is definitely a case we'll want to follow and bring you the latest details as we have them. That's all for us today on Sidebar, but make sure you subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this has been Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime.